Let's quickly take a look at this image that we'll just put out on your screens. And this image that you see on your screen is the satellite image. It has surfaced today. It has been released by the European Space Agency. It shows that the northern India area is covered under a thick blanket of air pollution and smoke. The image was captured in October 2023 by the satellite, and it reveals a river of haze flowing from India's Punjab and Haryana states across the densely populated Indo-Gangetic plains. The toxic cocktail was the result of rampant stubble burning in northern India. Paddy stubbles are routinely burned by farmers to clear fields for the next crop cycle, this despite an official ban. Peak air pollution levels recorded in Delhi in last year, October 2023, were 30 times the safe limit. Hospitals reported a surge in respiratory illnesses. There was zero visibility. Schools were closed down. There was construction that was halted. There was traffic restrictions that had been imposed. Something similar is also taking place, not in the air quality of our country, of our national capital region, but in the way Delhi has been caged right now. People cannot travel from one part of Delhi NCR to another. If you want to cross from Noida to Delhi, you have to plan it, maybe get out on the streets 2 to 3 hours in advance to reach the desired destination in the other part of the Delhi NCR. Something similar that is being played out when it comes to Gurgaon, and you want to travel from Gurgaon to Delhi, or worse still, if you want to travel from Gurgaon all the way to Noida, keep in mind that it will take you about 3 to 4 hours just to traverse this entire stretch, when this should have not been happening, keeping in mind that our infrastructure has improved, that our roads are smooth, that the highways have been created, the DNDs that have been created that allow for smooth commute for the people on the streets. I'm going to start my conversation, and we have been having it every single day for the past 2 weeks, ever since the farmers decided to carry on their protests. And I will not call them farmers actually, I will call them the Delhi Chalo protesters, because these self-appointed representatives of the farmers are actually not so. Because the real farmer, the large percentage of the farmers who live in Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, the rest of the country, do not advocate, do not support these violent protests that are carried out now on a regular basis. We saw this in 2020, we are seeing this once again in 2024. If this is going to become a routine affair, like how the Delhi air pollution is a routine affair every single winter, starting from October, lasting up until November, well, God save Delhi and God save the Delhiwalas. I start my conversation with Sumit. Sumit, quickly a response from you with regards to how the situation continues to deteriorate, and whether it is the farm fires, it's again related to the farmers. The governments do not want to act on it, raise any objections, put fines, put the people who are behind farm fires behind bars, don't take penalties from these individuals. And the same is the case when these protesters come out in large numbers to protest on the streets calling themselves farmers. How do we solve the problem?
Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. First of all, I have to congratulate you on Delhi Chalo protesters. So that is the best word you could have coined, because these are not farmers. Let's not even call them farmers. These Delhi Chalo protesters are the people who are blocking the roads. Problem is in Delhi, you register 4 times the cars. When other 4 metros put together, more than that cars are registered in Delhi. In Delhi NCR, you have the maximum number of SUVs sold. The traffic congestion is very high. The construction is very high. Then, especially, but the graph you were showing, you see where are the fires coming from? The fires are coming from Punjab, where Aam Aadmi Party unfortunately is not taking any cognizance of the issue. Some are coming from Haryana, but if you see UP, Western UP, you will see a substantial decrease in numbers, because Yogi ji has been able to manage some things. The problem with us is we are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Whenever anything goes of pollution, it's daily, traffic, it's daily, Gherao, it's daily, traffic disruption is daily, political protest is daily. And unfortunately, if you even look at this political protest, what these people are, Delhi Chalo protesters are doing, You know, on a typical day in Jantar Mantar, if you go, we all go there, you see there are 10, 15 protests going on everywhere. Nobody notices them. They are not causing any ruckus. They have a tent. They are putting their demands. Still the protest is going on. But unfortunately, what they have realized that if you want to get the media attention, you have to block the roads of Delhi. And if you want to get more media attention, you have to block the roads going to Noida, because that's where the most of the media is. So if you are able to block this like Shaheen Bagh and all, you get the maximum media attention. The more and more disruption you cause, the more and more ruckus and mayhem you cause, the more and more attention you will get. So it's unfortunately a blackmail wherein if you have the money or the muscle and you can mobilize the people, anybody can block the roads of Delhi. And who is suffering? We are the people who are suffering. You know, this reason, that reason. I don't want to take action in Punjab because I have a vote bank. Or UP can take the action because they can manage. Suddenly, Punjab cannot manage anything. 65% of the stubble burning is reduced in Haryana. Why this is not the case in Punjab? We have almost no stubble burning in UP. Why it is happening in Punjab? So can somebody answer? And why are these all the so-called Delhi Chalo protesters coming from Punjab? You know, why people from UP and Haryana are not joining them? When people from Rajasthan are not joining them? Because you, at the end of the day, understand it's a political protest. You want to get the media attention and clear. Delhi ki vaat lagao. That is unfortunately what the scene is today.
Kavita, and getting to understand the fact that we are also citizens of Delhi. We have also voted the people, the politicians to come to power and become our voice and work for our welfare and development. And there are the topmost of the judges, the jurists who live in Delhi. We have the government of India, the topmost ministers, the prime minister, the president. We have ambassadors who represent various parts of the world who live in Delhi as well. Are we saying that all these individuals, these high profile people, these politicians and the netas and the ambassadors and the envoys are not important, are not the actual vote bank of these political parties, but the farmers are, and these protesters are, and these middlemen are, and therefore heed is paid to whatever they have to say, whatever they have to do, and no action really taken when it comes to the health, when it comes to the betterment, when it comes to the welfare of the people of Delhi.
I would like to begin by saying that air does not differentiate whether I am an ambassador or a farmer, or I am a sweeper on the road, or I am the Queen of England. Air does not differentiate, because everyone who's in Delhi NCR is suffering equally. Health has become such an issue. Health issues are so large because I think politically we are unable to solve the problem. I think the one part of the solution, I wouldn't, as an environmentalist also, I'm not saying that the whole, the burden of air pollution should go to the farmers who are doing stubble burning. Of course, I have myself been to the border areas and seen how much the farmers are still burning stubble fires, and they are not listening to any of the requests of the local governments. That's rightly, because I have videos of stubble burning ever since winter set in this year also, 2024. Besides all the restrictions, bans, fines, and every power and push that we tried to stop them. So that is the responsibility of the farmers. Secondly, Delhi is becoming a dust bowl. There are many reasons, Megha. Let's not forget vehicular pollution, construction, metro, factories, even people coming from outside to Delhi. So there's a indoor pollution is also adding to it. There is a big, it's like a conjunction where everything is coming together and causing this dust bowl where, I would love to say that.
I'm trying to say over here is, what is that magic wand that these farmers have, that they are able to persuade the governments and the politicians and the netas to dance on their tunes when the Supreme Court comes out, the CJI comes out and gives these rulings and orders and pans the governments, the state government and the central government, but nothing really happens.
Put this in that the magic wand is nothing else except the vote bank, because all the lakhs of farmers are giving their valuable vote to a particular party. So that party in in position is doing everything they can do in their power to support the farmers, which is so wrong, because crores of people in Delhi NCR are suffering because of this wrong decision and this one-sided petting and taking side of the farmers, while we suffer in health and economy as well whenever air pollution sets in. So I think some conscience has to awaken in these parties, and to understand that even we have voted. See, anybody who's rich or poor doesn't matter, as I just mentioned in the beginning, that hawa kisi ke saath differentiate nahi karti. So the farmers are getting this freedom to express themselves in this violent manner, or make these roadblocks or pradarshan, because they have the backing of certain political power.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so Sumit, the strength lies in the numbers, and let's not kid ourselves. The farmers make 70% of our population today, and they have been the traditional bulwarks of the Indian economy. The fact that they are the vote banks, the fact that they are these small percentage of the farmers, the rich farmers, the influential farmers, the middlemen who have political connections, who have connections with gangsters, there is drug trade that happens in Punjab. There is a strong base of these individuals, some thousands of them, that have gathered, that have the influence, that have the money, and that they have the power to even put the politicians on their feet. And that's exactly what happened when the 3 farm laws were repealed. That's exactly what happened, and it is about to happen, because God forbid now 29th of February they are going to come out in large numbers in hordes. We have at this point of time removed the barricades to allow for the traffic to flow at least partially. But what happens when 29th February strikes?
See, Megha unfortunate part of it is there are 2 answers to it. First answer is, when we had last time farm protests, we as a country were losing 35,000 crores in a day. That's approximately $500 million it was costing us per day. Today it's costing us 500 to 600 crores even with this small protest. So you can do the mathematics. The problem here is that these Delhi Chalo protesters are disguised as farmers. It's a political movement. Might is right if you have the money, if you have the men, if you can mobilize big machines. Otherwise, why do you need JCBs, those modified tractors and those Bala, Farsa, Gandasi? Why are you coming with them? Why are you attacking the policemen? The challenge the country has is that if the government keeps on coming and kneeling to this ransom, you have to take the bull by the horns one day. There will be a day you have to take the bull by the horns. You have to do it, because if it doesn't happen tomorrow the bus walas can do a similar strike, the truck walas can do a similar strike, even car walas can do a similar strike. Right? Anybody, now you are setting a precedent. If you have the capability of blocking the roads, you can. Now the either way is government does something, or the second way is that we come up and do counter protest. In much bigger numbers, we block a few roads, फिर देखते किसके पास ज़्यादा लोग हैं. Then the justice will be done on the roads. The justice will be done on brute muscle and manpower. If the country has to go to that chaos, that is the choice we have. But if beyond a point, push comes to shove, the country has to understand, everybody has to understand, nobody is above the law. You're a farmer, you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a politician. Doesn't politician go to a jail? Yes. Isn't a judge prosecuted? Yes. Isn't a police officer suspended for some crimes? Yes. If I or you commit a crime, won't we go to jail? Yes, we will. So what makes these so-called farmers so special? What makes farmers of Punjab the privileged lot? What makes them blue-eyed boys? Because they can move these man machinery and all, and they can create the political jargons around it. Modi ne ye kar diya, Modi ne ye kar diya. But there is a time, Meghaji, the nation is running out of the patience. Look at all over the country. Do a snap poll. Your reporters across the country, all of them will tell you that bhai ye kisan nahi hai. They are no farmers. They are just trying to have their way out. Look at their absurd demands. If you look into their demands, you have to stop the capital expenditure of the whole country.
So then, like I said, if there are going to be counter protests, if the people of Delhi and NCR come together and say enough is enough, and we have had it, and we are actually now going to impose a dharna, we are going to block the streets of Delhi, we are not going to allow any of the ministers to travel from one place to another, we are going to block Lutyens Delhi, we are going to stand in front of Rashtrapati Bhavan and Kartavya Path. How is it that the government, state and center, going to figure this impossible situation?
I think the answer is, look, if the government is unable to manage this, They will be, there'll be opportunity cost to it. I'm being direct. But if people start going down the roads, then it will be who has the bigger clan, who has the more muscle, who has the more money. We don't want the country to go into that anarchy where your fundamental capability of blocking roads will determine the stature of your demands. We don't want as a country to go into that system. So it is high time that the governments of the day get together and ask them, look, nobody is above the law. Nobody is above the law. So if this message is sent out, and let me tell you, ma'am, if somebody tries to get a JCB into Delhi, if somebody tries to make tractor into a trunk and crush police walas, I think police has every right and government has every right to stop that person, to stop that tractor, whatever it takes. If you have to eliminate the person, you have to eliminate the person because there's no other way. I can't have that JCB come and kill 100 people. I can't have that JCB, kill 10 police walas because the men in uniform are not sting ducks. That we are not sting ducks. Our life and property is not sting ducks. And what about that loss to the exchequer the country is facing? So there is a time when everybody has a Lakshman Rekha. If they are crossing the Lakshman Rekha, that has to be defined by iske aage nahi. If you cross the Lakshman Rekha, you are responsible.
Okay. Quickly, okay, we have Dilip Cherian now. Dilip, quickly, what Sumit was saying that nobody is above the law, but do you feel that there are some individuals, certain percentage of the population that is in fact a little above the law than the rest?
I think that I would agree with Sumit that nobody must be above the law. But where I have a fundamental difference is that I'm a votary of the right to protest. The method by which you protest can be different. It can be in multiple forms, but the right to protest exactly where your leaders live and work is a fundamental right. You can't protest in Mongolia. You have to protest where your leadership is, because that is the right of a citizen.
It is the right of a citizen, but is it the right of an individual, of a protester to block roads and then inconvenience the rest of the people living in Delhi? Again, the same question. I asked you the same question the last time around we were having this discussion, and the point that I keep hammering upon and taking this discussion forward is that, the people who are in power, the politicians, the netas are turning a deaf ear to the problems being faced by the people in Delhi because their votes are not as precious as the votes of these so-called representatives of the farmers.
On the contrary, my anxiety is that the priority of leaders seem to be to create a facade of business as usual in the capital. When people want to say something else, I think they should be heard. Now, should they be allowed to block roads? I disagree that they should be allowed to block roads. They should not. They should be allowed to protest. Places should be designated for them to protest. The size of the protest must not be cut down. Delhi has no shortage of places.
But Dilip,
right
what I'm saying is, they are bringing in bulldozers. They are bringing in JCBs. Like, what is, the fact that you are actually appearing to be a violent bunch of protesters because you are carrying these huge machines wanting to enter into Delhi, what kind of a message gives out? For example, if there are police personnel who are standing with huge guns and they are targeting at the protesters, what is the kind of image, what is the kind of perception that goes out to the people, to the public?
That you need to allow them to come into Delhi. You need to make sure that they come unarmed, without vehicles to block roads. Definitely, that is a correct ask. And give them the space to show that they are numbers.
So what happened last time around? What happened in 2021? They came out in large numbers. They ended up breaking the barricades. They ended up flouting every single rule, every single imposition that was put up by the Delhi police. They brought in their tractors, they brought in the bulldozers, they even beat up a lot of police personnel. In fact, they had the gumption to climb up the Red Fort and put that Khalistani flag.
This is a wonderful diversionary tactic where there are a few, what I call miscreants amongst protesters, they must definitely be
How do
stopped from doing either
how do we
something.
identify the miscreants from the people who are actually protesting?
This is actually, going south, your discussion, because what is happening is that you are getting higher and higher pitched battles and protests because you are constantly trying to curtail the right to protest. That's the point I'm making. If railway persons, if people who are unemployed, if people who have an issue with being faced with exams which are where questions are leaked, allow them to protest. Do not have police high-handedness operate on your citizens. Your citizens must be
I have
heard.
never seen a doctor's protest with bulldozer and guns and lathis. I've never seen a protest of the teachers with violent measures that have been witnessed in the past and that have been witnessed even today as well. 29th, I'm pretty much sure that there are going to be these huge machines that are going to break the barricades trying to enter into Delhi. I don't know what failed in our system, in our political force, that this was allowed to happen in 2021. It is going to happen. It is likely to, unfortunately, I fear that it is going to happen once again. How do we stop it? Again, Kavita, quickly coming to you. A citizen's problem, and the comparison that I was also drawing over here, whether it is the smoke show that Delhi witnesses routinely every October in the winters, and this is also an issue related to the farmers. And the issue that we are witnessing on the peripheries of Delhi is also an issue related to the self-appointed representatives of the farmers. The question I ask over here is this then indicative of a political agenda that governments, politicians are also a part of?
Yeah, looks like it, Megha, because I have never seen farmers, even if you pick up history, they have always been for a good cause. Here it looks like a revolution to me. Why is it so rebellious? I feel that if there is a protest, there should be a designated place like Jantar Mantar, or I think we need a decorum for protest. Nobody can pick up gandasas and tractors and swords and jump for, asking your rights. That's not the way. This is a democracy. You have the right to speak. You have the right to protest, but please draw the line, because millions of people's lives are being affected and we are fearful. I'm truly telling you, my office is in Noida. I'm afraid to go from Delhi to Noida whenever this kind of thing is happening. Can you imagine? We are closing our offices. Schools are being shut because of fear. So who's introducing this phobia into the people? I think it's it's an approach used by somebody out there who's not interested that we live a peaceful life, that we have a peaceful democracy. So besides the farmers' responsibility for the stubble burning and making the Delhi air so polluted and turning it into a brown aura, I think they're also becoming miscreants in the form. Some of them, like Dilip ji mentioned, that not all but some are there creating this havoc and fear in the people of Delhi. So
Okay.
I truly do not appreciate that. We need to find a way, whether it is by in a strict manner or whether it is communication. Like charcha pe aap chai pe charcha kare aur isko solve kare. I think
Okay.
it's high time.
Yeah.
They need to sit down and solve this forever.
But the point is, is there actually an issue that needs to be resolved, or this is just a ruse to once again inundate the streets of Delhi? Quickly, Sumit, before I wrap this up, you want to make a point?
First of all, when you go to Jantar Mantar any day, I was trying to make that point. You have 25, 30 protests going on, even if I go today. Even if I go yesterday, I'll be all. They do not hit anybody, they don't bother anybody because they are doing it peacefully, they are doing it. And if peaceful protests would have not worked, how would a phenomenon like Arvind Kejriwal came up? He came from a peaceful protest. How would a phenomenon like Anna Hazare came up? He came from the same place, Jantar Mantar, peaceful product. If a peaceful protest can make Anna Hazare, can make Arvind Kejriwal, why do you need JCBs and bulldozers and swords and Bala Farsa and have 100 policemen injured and say we are here to bring down Modi, Yogi must resign, Modi must resign, Khattar director must resign. Where does that come in? So if protests did not have a power, how many JCBs, tractors, and how many tanks did Arvind Kejriwal get, and how many these cavalcades did Anna Hazare get? Answer is none. If your cause is right, if your thing is right, in a small tent you can make a difference, you can make a revolution. But here you are showing mere muscle power, you're showing mere muscle and machine power. That is where the problem is with not a protest. You come and
Okay.
protest. Now the problem is man and machine power. What you are saying, your tendency of violence, what you are saying. So these are Delhi Chalo protesters, these are not farmers. I congratulate you again for coining that word.
Okay, all right. On that note, I am out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. We'll carry on our campaign over here to let the highest of the echelons of power to listen to what we are saying, to do something that is going to be helpful for the people of Delhi, for a change. Think, feel and act for the people who voted for you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.